Pakistan versus Saudi, it's a big match, but looking at the whole preparations of Pakistan in the World Cup qualifiers, how do you see and the match against Saudi, how it's going on?
Look, I think from the day that we came, we realized that qualifying for the World Cup for the first time is going to be a big task. Having said that, the boys have given everything they have in the 4 games. Obviously, the results have not been the results that we would like. But, you know, when you haven't qualified for a tournament for 75 years, unfortunately, we have been suspended for 5-6 years, and we don't have a league in the country. We are starting with our hands tied behind our back. So there is a lot of work to do, and there's many things that we should be doing. But I think the biggest thing I would say to anybody and everybody in Pakistan is that unless we unite all of the major stakeholders in football in Pakistan, we have no chance. This is not going to be a one-man band. I'm not blaming anybody from the past, but we are paying for past mistakes. We need to change our attitude. We need to change how we do things. We are a population of 250 million people, and you have countries with less than 1 million people qualifying for World Cups and going to Asia Cups. And in Pakistan, we are at home watching on TV, which for me is criminal.
Coach, I mean, just recently you had one of the good initiatives, I would say, that you had a scouting course over here in Pakistan. It was the first ever course. Just tell me about the course, I mean, how important it was specifically for the future endeavors in Pakistan.
Look, one of the main reasons is we don't have a league. But even if we did have a league, we need people to go and see players. I cannot be in every corner of Pakistan. So the concept of that was Derek Bragg, who is one of the best scouts in Europe, European football. We brought him over for 3-4 days for the course. The idea was to educate people who are interested in football. You don't have to be a top player to be a scout, but you obviously have to understand the game. And Derek highlighted the major points to, I think we had 10-12 people on the course, what to look for. So you may, for example, like this player, but you need to know what the coach is looking for. And in our case, we need a particular type of player to play for Pakistan. They say football is played with a football. I can tell you that it's not.
One, you say that we are not ready for the World Cups to qualify. Your aim is to qualify for the Asia Cup or Asia Cup qualifiers. Secondly, many of the people, they have one question, it's that, why do we have diaspora players with the Pakistani players over here in the Pakistan team?
Look, I think most countries are using diaspora players, even England. Brazil are using, Portugal use. It's not an uncommon thing. The purpose of the diaspora players is they are playing in better leagues. Many of them, or most of them, have been coached from a younger age. So technically, tactically, they are in a better situation. And at the moment, we do not have grassroots, we do not have coach education, we do not have a league. And as long as that continues, then we are going to need the diaspora players. Now, some of them are not playing in the top leagues, okay, but they are playing, they are training every day.
Regular football, you can say.
Regular football. Yeah. As soon as we get regular football in Pakistan, I am sure there are plenty of talents here that will benefit greatly from being coached from the age of 6 up to 17, 18, 19 and onwards. But until that happens, then I think it's an opportunity that we have. And let me remind you that in India, they don't pick diaspora players. And we went to an Asian Cup with a team only of players made up from India, but they had a professional league. We don't have a professional league.
So, Coach, I mean, recently you were here. I mean, I just watched even yesterday in the Challengers Cup. I mean, I know there were teams playing up over there, and you have been insisting about having a league in Pakistan for the better future and for the backup players, what we have been insisting. How do you see the Challengers Cup and identifying a new talent? How was it?
Look, I think one thing that stands out both to me and Derek was, because Derek was here from the beginning to the end, he left last night. One thing that stands out is the effort and the willingness of the players to work and to fight. But they are limited because they have not been coached. They have not been coached to a certain level or from a certain age group. So the foundation of football is done from the age of 5, not 13, 14 and 15. So those players are missing out from that unless they've had that opportunity. So I think it was great for me because it was the first time for me to see 16 teams play every day in tournaments.
Coach, I mean, if you just talk about I was just going through a track record, and from 2015 to 2019, as a coach for India, you played around 42 matches, if I'm not wrong, and you won 23 matches, and 13 matches you lost, 6 were draw matches. It's a brilliant result over here. But when you talk about the players from the deprived community, from the community where football is more being played, and even in Pakistan, I would say, I know everyone says about the league, but how important it is on the grassroots level, for example, Balochistan, for example, Kashmir, Sindh, this kind of areas, even you have leagues or any club, proper football being played over there to get the players to the national team.
Look, if there is no development process, and we talk about the grassroots process, if there's no development process, then how are those children going to learn? So for me, we need to go straight to the bottom level and start educating coaches to teach the grassroots levels. Once that happens, then you're going to start to produce more players. We found players in India in universities. We found players from the scouting group. We found a boy playing barefooted sevens, Ashik Kurnian from Kerala. He's now making 250,000 a year playing for Mombagan. We found him on a lot playing 7-a-side. Because we had scouts looking. So the idea is to develop scouts all over the country. The idea is for coach education to be available for all of the regions. We have 6 regions, and this is the only way. Now that takes time, and you need to plan that. But the most important thing that we need right now is a league. We need a professional league so that our best players are playing on a daily basis, weekly basis. If you notice, our results in the World Cup have not been fantastic, but we lost 4-0 to Saudi Arabia, but 90th minute it was 2-0. The second game we lost 6-1 because we cannot play 2 games in 10 days with the same consistency because we are not physically fit enough or mentally fit enough to be able to handle 2 big international games in the space of 10 days. So we need a league, and I don't care where the league comes from. My suggestion is 12 teams, take from all the regions, the 6 regions, maximum of 2, and get this moving, because this is the biggest hurdle that we need to cross.
Coach, I mean, it's a big match coming up. It's Pakistan versus Saudi. Everyone has an eye on it, and I know that everyone has been speaking about it, the match against Saudi and Pakistan. How do you see, I know Saudi is a tough team, obviously they play World Cups, but the Pakistan versus Saudi match in Saudi was a very good match. Unfortunately, we did lose, like you mentioned, at the last moment, but how do you see that match?
Look, every game that Pakistan plays is going to be important. You're playing for your country, you're playing for pride, you're playing for yourself, your families, and we don't go into any game to lose. The boys will fight like they have fought in all the games. Is it a difficult game? Yeah, Saudi got knocked out in the 16, Tajikistan got knocked out in the 8, and Jordan went to the Asian Cup final. So we couldn't have had a more difficult group. But we wanted to be involved, we are involved, and now if we want to stay involved, and if we want to get better, we need to change.
Any sports, I mean, I do see one thing, that the head coach of a team, I mean, he's the head coach of, he's the head coach of 23 million people in Pakistan. Obviously, like you're the head coach of Pakistan. There needs to be transparency. The coaches which are working with the under-19 team, which are working with the under-17, who are working with the under-23 team, there needs to be transparency. He needs to have the proper knowledge which player is performing well.
Right, and to do that, he needs to know what the head coach is looking for. If it's me or whoever it is, I will coach the under-20s, just to give you an idea. I will take the under-20s for this SAF tournament, okay? Our objective is to win it. We are not going there to lose. But in order to do that, we need to get things in the right way. We need the right players in the right positions. We need to coach them. They need a camp. And there's lots of things that go into that. But we have the talent. We just are not looking for it, and we are not developing the way we should be. And this is no fault of anybody other than ourselves, because we in Pakistan have put ourselves in this situation where we were suspended for so long. It's changed. I know Yashal was talking about the objective of the normalization committee. Technically, it's not to run or to start up the football, but they are doing that with the restrictions from FIFA and from the AFC. The AFC are also not helping us financially. So it's a big problem. And the fact that we have qualified and the fact that we are playing games, I think the normalization committee deserves a little bit of credit, because otherwise we don't have any football in this country.
As many of the viewers of us, I mean, they just get one story when you say that we can't qualify for the World Cups. Everyone understands that. But unfortunately, they don't hear the other story, why we can't qualify for the World Cups.
Look, I told you when I went to India, the first thing that Mr. Praful Patel, who was the Minister of Aviation, said to me, "Coach, we're going to go to the World Cup." I said, "Sir, we're not going to the World Cup." Why? What did we do to prepare to go to the World Cup? You need 2, 3, 4 years of preparation before you go to the World Cup. And even then, it's not guaranteed you're going to go to the World Cup. And we haven't done anything. We are not doing anything. Look, last week I was in Malaysia for a national coaches convention, which invited all of the national coaches from all of Asia. And I was told that Pakistan is not even on the map. Okay, so we need to change that. We have changed that. We qualified. We are now on the map. But we need to do things, and one of the things that I suggested in Asia was that we have a Nations League. There are 47 countries in Asia. There are different levels. There's no real purpose of development for us or for Saudi, for example, to play the game. It's a mismatch at the moment. But we need time to develop. And to do that, we need to train our coaches, train our players, and I think be more proactive in AFC events, such as the coaches convention and so on. But Rome was not built in a day. We have to put the foundations. Once we put the foundations, then you can build on that. And I'm telling you, we have players. If India can qualify to the Asian Cup with no players playing outside, why not Pakistan?
That's very important, Coach. I mean, if I just speak about the first match, we won against Cambodia 1-0, and your video was viral all over. It was exciting for us because...
I hope you're not going to show that.
I hope so. We have that. I guess we have that. So it was exciting. But Coach, how did you see that match? And that match was quite very important to get a rhythm back for Pakistan.
Look, that game made history for Pakistan. I think it was the first time ever that we qualified for the World Cup qualifiers. I hope it's not the last time. For me, people who say that they don't play football or there's no interest in football in Pakistan, all I have to say to you is go and see that video. Go and see the reaction of the crowd. So many grown men crying like babies, including Mr. Harun Malik, I might add. Because that's how much it meant to the country. And if it means that much to so many people, why are we, all of the stakeholders in football, not trying to find a solution to our problems and get back to where we belong within the football community?